What's up guys, Groovy Guitar Dude here with a beginner guitar tutorial for Not Really Over by Katy Perry. If this video helps you out, hit that like and subscribe button and let me know down in the comments below what are the songs by Katy Perry that you want to learn on guitar. Guys, the first thing that you want to know to play Never Really Over on guitar is that in order to get rid of some bar chords and keep this as beginner friendly as possible, we're going to capo up to 1st fret. And if you don't have a capo, I'll have a link to get this capo for free right up here. The next thing you want to know for Never Really Over is the structure of this song. We're going to start out with a verse, then go to pre-chorus, then chorus, then post-chorus, then verse, pre-chorus, chorus, post-chorus again, then we're going to have a bridge, and then we're going to have a chorus, and we're going to finish up with one last post-chorus. And the last thing you want to know before we dive into Never Really Over is the 5 chords that we need to play this song. The first one is G, the next one is D, the next one is E minor 7, the next one is C add 9, and the last one is G over B. And I'll have chord charts for all of those in the pinned comment below for those of you who need them. And guys, with all that in mind, let's dive into Never Really Over. Man, I totally dig this song. This is one of those that I just immediately fell in love with as soon as I heard it. So, there is a lot of moving parts to this song, but it's not super complicated. Everything in here is pretty beginner friendly. There's just kind of a lot of moving parts. So I'd recommend to take some notes on this and stuff so you don't kind of get lost with where you are. Again, not super complicated, just kind of a lot of moving parts. So with that in mind, the first thing we hear in the song is verse. So we're going to look at verse first. So what we have for verse, we have a chord progression and a very simple strum pattern. Our chord progression is going to be G, and then we're going to have D, C add 9, and then back to D. And you'll notice that there's some commas in there, and those are places that we're gonna have a little bit of a pause, and that'll make a little bit more sense when we get to our strum pattern here. So, what our strum pattern for this is just gonna be a single, quick, kind of choppy down strum for each chord. So, kind of like that. We're gonna hit it, and we're gonna mute it right away. So, hit it, and then rest your palm on there to mute it right away. So, back to those commas. What we're doing for those commas is those are a little bit of a pause. So, what we've got is we've got G, and then we've got C, D, a little pause after that, and then back to D, and then back to G quickly after that. So that's kind of a weird thing. That's kind of a little bit hard to write out to explain, but we're not gonna have, basically there's no pause in between that last D and the first G whenever you repeat the pattern. So just for example, we go G, D, C, D, G, D, C, D, and then back to that G right away, just like that. Hopefully that makes sense. It's a little bit hard to write out and it's a little bit hard to explain, but just when you wrap back around after that last D into the first G again, there's no space in between there. That's a quick one. And then just the places where there are commas is where you're gonna have that little pause in there. And that's it, guys. That's it for your verses. You're just gonna have that single down strum. It's just gonna repeat over and over again like that throughout all of your verses. So guys, a couple of times through that verse chord progression and strum pattern with those pauses will look about like this. And from there, guys, we're into pre-chorus. Now, pre-chorus is going to be set up very, very similar to verse, but we're just going to change up what we're doing for our chords. So what our chord progression for that is going to be E minor, and then G over B, and then C, and then D. And you'll notice again, like I said, we've got those commas in there, and those are laid out exactly the same as the way we did them in verse. We're again gonna have a single down strum for this, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna go E minor, little pause, and then we're gonna go G over B, C, pretty quick, little pause, and then we're gonna go to D, and then back to E minor really quick after that. Like so, again, same kind of thing, no pause in between that last D chord and then the E minor chord at the very beginning when we repeat through that. And I believe it repeats twice for each pre-chorus if I remember correctly. So again, guys, like I said, same exact thing as verse. We're just changing up the chords we're using, but it's same structure, same strum pattern, same pauses in the same places and all that, just changing up our chords. So with that in mind, a couple of times through that pre-chorus strum pattern and chord progression will look about like this. And that is going to bring us into our chorus. Now, again, there's a lot of moving parts in this song just because each little section has kind of a different thing that's going on. But what's cool about the chorus is actually just going to be our verse chord progression and our pre-chorus chord progression and the same strum patterns combined. So our chord progression, you'll notice the first line there is going to be the same as the verse. So we've got G, D, C, and then back to D. Same thing there, same commas in all the same places. And then our next line there is going to be the pre-chorus chord progression, which is again E minor, G over B, C, and D. Again, exactly the same. So what we're going to do is we're just going to combine those chord progressions, and then we're going to do exactly the same thing we did for strumming. So kind of a little walkthrough. We've got G, D, C, D, E minor, and then G over B, C, and then D, and then back to the top, we're going to go back straight into that G. So the important thing, again, to remember here is your spacing. So again, all of the commas are where the spaces are. But again, remember, at that last chord of each line, there's no space. So we're going to go straight from that D at the top line into that E minor of the next line. So, and then again, at the very last chord of the second line, that last D chord, we're going to go back into the G at the top line. So we're going to go at that last part and repeat just like that. So again, the important thing on here is getting that spacing down. So guys, a couple of times all the way through that chorus chord progression with that same strum pattern we've been using, that single down strum thing this whole time, will look about like this. And guys, finally, that's going to bring us to the last part of the song that we need to know, which is our post-chorus, which is the PC with the stars next to it in our structure, and our bridge. We're going to be playing the same thing for post-chorus as we are on the bridge. What we're going to be doing for this is a little bit different than the rest of the song, so we're going to have this chord progression. We're going to go G, C, E minor, and C. Not too terribly different so far, but what we're doing for strum pattern is where it gets really different. So what we're doing for this, for strum pattern, is going to be down, up, palm muted, 8 times per chord. That sounds super intimidating. I know, don't freak out too much. It's a lot easier than it sounds. If you don't know what palm muting is, all you're gonna do is get the soft part of your hand right here on your strumming hand, and you're going to rest it softly on the strings close to the bridge of your guitar. You're just going to rest it softly there. And what that's going to do is that whenever you're doing your strumming, we're going to be doing all kind of finger strumming here. And what we're going to be doing is getting that kind of muted and percussive sound. That's what the point of palm muting is. And it sounds super, super cool. And it really kind of fits the vibe of this song and this part of the song very, very well. So again, kind of an example of what we're doing here. We've got down, up, 8 times palm muted for each chord. It's pretty quick. So with our G chord as our example here, we're going to go down, up, 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 down, up for each chord. So next thing, we're going to switch to that C. We're going to go down, up, 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 and then E minor, down, up, 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 and then back to C. We're going to go down, up, 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 just like that. And that's what we're going to be doing for all of our post choruses and for our bridge. And I know that it might seem a little intimidating, but I promise it's not as bad as it seems. The other cool thing too with that is that you really don't have to strum the full chord. So that's probably what really seems intimidating, is trying to strum that full chord while you're staying kind of anchored down there on the bridge with your palm muting. You really can just strum kind of the top couple of strings of each chord. Now it's not really specific. You can kind of get a little bit, maybe not sloppy is the right word, but you don't have to be super precise with all this. Just kind of get those as much as you can, those top couple of strings for each chord, top like maybe 3 or 4 strings for each chord while you're doing that palm muted down and up strumming. And that is it, guys. That's all you need to know to play this song. That's the last little section there. So all we have left, that's that post-chorus and that bridge. So a couple of times through that post-chorus and bridge chord progression and strum pattern will look about like this. Guys, that is everything that you need to know to play Not Really Over on guitar. As always, if you have any questions, you can hit me up in the comments down below. I'm usually pretty quick getting back to those. And again, if this video helped you out, hit that subscribe button. I have about 685 other guitar and ukulele lessons on this channel, and I usually try to post at least 3 to 5 new videos every single week. So if you're learning guitar or ukulele, there could not be a more perfect channel for you to check out. If you want to see what song I'm jamming on today or pictures of my dog, you can hit up my Instagram story at @thegroovyguitardude. Link for that will be in the description below. Guys, Not Really Over is one of those songs that I just immediately fell in love with. Like about a third of the way through the song, after it had kind of gone to like the end of the first post-chorus, I was like, man, I totally dig this song. And I don't know what it is. I don't always fall in love with pop songs like that. Really, I like pop, but it's not one of my favorite genres. And so it's pretty rare that I'll really fall in love with a pop song like that. And this one, I think it feels like an older Katy Perry song, like her older writing style. And I really like that from some of her, first couple of albums. And then also, the songwriting in this song, it's just something that really spoke to me, and I think a lot of us have been in that situation before where, like, maybe with an ex or something like that, like it's over, but it's not really over, and it kind of needs to be over, but you don't really want it to be over. And I think we've all probably kind of been, or maybe not all of us, but a lot of us have been in that situation. And I love songs that the songwriting will speak to a personal experience in my life. Some of my favorite songs, that's what it is. Like if I can tie it back to something in my life, like a personal experience or a memory or something like that, it just connects with me for some reason. And I think a lot of people, I don't know if a lot of people are like that actually, but that's usually kind of a lot of times if I have a favorite song or whatever, a song that I really get into, that's why. So as far as the guitar for this song, again, this is not, it's a very beginner friendly song in the sense that all the chords are very beginner friendly. All of those 5 chords for this song are really chords that you probably should or have already learned in your first couple of weeks of playing guitar. But the tricky part about the song is going to be the timing on those single down strums, which again, not super difficult. You kind of just got to get a feel for it and play it along with the song, and you'll kind of fall into place with that once you got your chords down and all that. It's just single down strums. Anybody can do single down strums, but just finding kind of where those pauses are. And so I'd recommend playing along with the song to get those down for the verse, pre-chorus, and chorus. And then for the post-chorus, the part with that really quick up and down palm muted down strum, that's a little bit tricky, and it is going to take some practice because that's very much a feel thing. You'll get the feel for that once you kind of do it and practice it. So don't give up on that if it's a little tricky at first. Just kind of mess with it and work on it and stuff, and just get that up and down motion and that palm muting. Get that feeling kind of used to your hand, kind of work your hand into getting used to that kind of feel if you're a beginner, and you'll have that down in no time. It's just going to take a little bit of practice to get that part down. But other than that, very beginner-friendly song, and it's very fun. Like I said, I really dig this one. So anyways, guys, I had a blast learning this song. I hope you guys have a lot of fun learning it as well, and I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see y'all soon.